Gonna stop talking about IPv6 now for half an hour, right? We're gonna switch to this other little topic. It's called IXPs and peering. And Kasai this morning in his keynote already stressed the importance of peering and talked a bit about the obvious things like, yeah, you save on transit costs. And I think Marco here, who works for UAE-IX, or representing the UAE-IX, is going to talk a bit more about the other less obvious reasons to pair. Do you need help with your bit?
Oh, no, it's okay.
You got it? Yeah. I'm not, don't know. Okay, I was about to say, I don't know PowerPoint that well. Okay, Marco, thank you. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. I know PowerPoint, but unfortunately not Apple. So I'm from UAE Exchange, and I will present you some arguments about peering. I put the title unknown in brackets because I think many of the arguments, or all the arguments, might be, you should know them, but I would say they're unused, they're underused. My personal background, I'm here for DE-CIX. I'm doing business development at DE-CIX, and I had my own ISP running for 20 years in Austria. And so I did the business side at the company, and so I know many arguments that technicians throw at me when they wanted to have money for going to a new IXP to do a new build-out. And that was my motivation when I did this presentation. I thought I bring some of these arguments, and I will give you maybe some useful things for your own discussion with your management. So the first argument, which is well known and everybody is using, and also we as IXP are using, is the argument peering is cheaper than IP transit. This argument is very true here in the region when it comes to UAE Exchange, and you think about a 10 gig port costs you $3,800, which is less than $1 per megabit for traffic, then it's much cheaper, of course, than IP transit. When you come to Europe and you're discussing with your management about peering, it's not that much valid anymore, so you need much more arguments than that. But still, it's the main used argument for peering, and I don't want to talk much more about it. It's very obvious. Which brings me to the second one, it's the lower latency. I will show you later on some graphs that are really interesting coming from the region. Peering brings a shorter path to your target. So if you think about the early days of peering exchanges in Europe, all traffic was passing from Europe to US and back. And when they started peering, all of a sudden the peering stayed in the same country, stayed in the same city, and we heard it today in different presentations. The best way of traffic engineering, or the best help for traffic engineering, are local exchanges, because keep your traffic local. So, and local path is a short path and result in low latency. Which is, if you look at the big European exchanges, it's not a must anymore, because just think about DE-CIX. We have traffic from 62 countries there. So I think our farthest away network, they are coming from Japan, they're coming from Philippines now, and so if you think about the latency from Europe to Philippines, and if you think if a US network peers in Frankfurt with the Philippine networks, the traffic path or the latency might be even higher if they do the same thing on the West Coast in US. So, but typically, of course, and I would say 99.5% of all cases, yeah, we will have sure latency. But for management, yeah, this argument sometimes is too technical, they don't care about it, but of course they should do that. So, which brings me to the first not so well used argument, it's recognition. This is a very interesting one, because peering on an internet exchange brings recognition in the community. If you're number 600 on the DE-CIX, for example, okay, you're the 600th networks there, it's not a big sensation, but if you're number 22, 25 on the internet exchange in Dubai, everybody will know you. And also if you go on the big exchanges for setting up your peering sessions, yeah, it's always a little bit of advertising of your own network as well. You can always tell people who you are because they want to know who they peer with, and you can always ask them what they are doing. And this is something that's also interesting for management, because at the end of the day, the business of telcos is not just IP, it's also MPLS business, it's also IPLCs, whatever, voice, and so on. So it's always interesting. There's always a wholesale part in every company. So it's always interesting to have contacts in this area. And this is something you really can sell to your management, because if you do it well, and then it's a good marketing as well for your company. And if I think about two examples we have on the UA exchange, we have Anexia there from Austria, which is a really small company from Austria, and we have Medianova from Turkey, and I'm quite sure nobody in the region would know them if they're not peering, if they would not be peering at the UA exchange as well. So this is one of the first not so used arguments that's really nice. The second one, and this goes hand in hand with the first one, is collaboration. An internet exchange is a big marketplace. So, okay, you exchange your traffic. So you do some kind of business already with the networks who are there, because you agreed on exchanging your IP traffic for free. And at the end of the day, okay, it's some kind of business, even if it's for free. But you not only have IP transit, you have, as I said before, layer 2 networks, you have VPNs for your customers. So, and especially when you work on an international basis, you need partners. And the IXP is typically a place to find these partners. If you think about UAE, and you go there with a network, you already have the possibility to reach half of the GCC region on the internet exchange and connect there and build your MPLS network there. If you think about the DE-CIX, you reach 62 countries on this exchange. So it's a big marketplace for your own products and also for to reach partners for your customers or enterprise customers. So I give an example. At the UA exchange, we offer VLANs and also on DE-CIX, where you can interconnect with these networks, no matter in which data center they are, to build some kind of cheap NNI, I would say. The third argument, and this is for management, for certain companies a real killer argument, is internet exchange or peering helps you selling IP transit. So why is that? I think it's very obvious for most of you that IP always takes the shortest path. And if you have the shortest path, the IP packages will use your network rather than another network to reach the path. So if you're in a multi-home scenario, so your customer is in a multi-home scenario, they're using you and maybe a tier 1 provider, which is not so well peered like you because of their rules. It's very common that the traffic will use your network instead of the other. So by using peering, you can generate real revenue. And it doesn't matter if it's in a 95% till scenario or if you sell flat ports, because if flat ports are full, the customer has to upgrade. So they will use more of you than of the other network, and so you will get the revenue. And this is a killer argument for your management, because this will help you to have a peering on no cost, because it's new revenue. I give you a good example of that. It's the example of, it's my old company, i3B. We had 12 peering exchanges connected in Europe, so I think about 1,000 peering sessions. And one of our bigger customers was Hutchinson in Austria. So Hutchinson at that time did 40 gigabit of traffic. And as you can see on this graph, it's from the Hurricane Electric website, from the BGP tool. i3B took 50% of the traffic. So we had been in a multi-home scenario together with UTA, which is Tele2 from Sweden, and Deutsche Telekom. And if you think about the giant Deutsche Telekom, if you compare i3B, who is maybe not even known here in the region, But Deutsche Telekom, which is a huge network, you see Deutsche Telekom just took 13%. So this is a real proof of concept, or really proof of this argument that you will earn real revenue out of it. So if you can think about Hutchinson had 40 gigabit of traffic, and half of it is running to this small network. So it's a big bunch of revenue, and it's not the only one, of course. And that days, yeah, we were so well peered that we could win every challenge in Austria when it comes to IP transit. So really think about that argument when you talk to your management and when it comes to peering. And I'm really fast, I see. It's the fourth argument, and it's already my last one. UAE IX is here, just use it. I know this might be sound a little bit like marketing, but and of course it is. But there are many that I had been on many MENOGs, and always there was the discussion about there should be an internet exchange in the region. Where is the internet exchange in the region? There's a need for it, and so on and so on. But in the meantime, there are internet exchanges. There is the Palestine IX, by the way, which is a local initiative by Saleh Mansour, which I really like because it's they did the challenge of connecting all Palestinian networks together. And there's the UAE exchange in UAE. And we, as we are DE-CIX and as we are proud of being the biggest exchange worldwide, of course, we try to bake bigger breads also in the UAE. So, or it's our target to do that. So we want to be not only exchange for UAE, which makes no sense with two networks. We want to be the exchange for the region, or also a real hub between Africa, Asia, and Europe. Because if you look at the map and if you look at the telegeography map, you will see there is no real hub. And we're good on track. We already have 20 plus networks there in less than a year. So I think it's already a good proof of concept. We have already content coming to the region, so like Akamai, like Google and others. Also the small guys like Medianova and Annexia. And we will have, very short on time, I think we can announce it next week, we will have content coming out of the region. So content that is hosted now in Europe will be hosted in future in Dubai. So if there is any, I just think about in May there was the discussion about, yeah, is it possible to build an internet exchange in the GCC with all the regulatory issues, with all the prohibiting situations you have between the ISPs, between the incumbent and so on? Yes, it is possible. And you should use it. And I give you a few examples why you should use it. This is something that has been done by my colleague Bernd, who is sitting over there. He was the old peering manager, by the way, at I3B, and he's now also at DE-CIX, helping peers at DE-CIX and UAE Exchange to get the maximum traffic out of their ports. And yeah, he did some round trip times. This is an example from Vienna. You see, I hope you can read it. You see the content sites like Audi, BMW, Apple, Akamai, and so on, Limelight, Yahoo, Twitter, Facebook, and you see most of it is below 40 milliseconds. Most of it is even faster. So this is because you get it directly in Vienna or you get it on DE-CIX in Frankfurt. Only Twitter you can peer in Frankfurt, but still the traffic comes out of US. So when you think about the Middle East and you think about when you look at the map and you see all the fiber situation, you would say it's great. There should be no issue like that because there's so much fiber in the region, so much sea cables coming in, around 30 landing stations just on the coast of the GCC and in the surrounding. So there should be no issue. But what we did yesterday in Riyadh, and this was, had really good luck because yesterday we recognized it's not a working day anymore on Saturday in Saudi. They changed it over the summer, so we had lots of time there. And so we could do some statistic. And this was the statistic in Riyadh with a obviously non-peered network. So basically what you see here is that the minimum runtime is around 120 to 150 milliseconds to all these guys. Although Akamai is in the region, Limelight 400 milliseconds almost is in the region. Yahoo is near there in Mumbai, but it's 500 milliseconds, so it's obvious it's not going to Mumbai from there. CD Networks is on the UAE exchange, it's in Bahrain, it's almost everywhere, but obviously it's not paired with 500 milliseconds, and so on and so on. So this is not really connected. So it's very impressive. So after meeting we had been in another hotel lobby, and we found out we were sitting in a peered network. This is from a network that's already on an internet exchange in Dubai. And so if you see the difference between the first one and here, by the way, the blue one is always Vienna. So the other color, the red one is from Saudi. So if you look at that, you see Akamai is going down to below 100. So this is around 60 milliseconds. So they peer obviously in UAE. What we didn't know is why they don't have Audi and BMW on peering, because it comes through Akamai, and same for Apple. This is something we have to figure out. But if you look at Limelight, still 700 milliseconds, although Limelight is in the region. CD Networks also on peering on the UAE exchange, also 60 milliseconds. Google, soon to come on the internet exchange, will be then also 60 milliseconds. So you see, this is the first effect of peering. And today, we thought, okay, this was, it was nice to see, but still a little bit less if you think about the possibilities. And we hope to see it even better here. And now that's the conference room, same statistic. Also a network that peered on the UAE exchange. I have to say that the Kuwaiti guys really got the idea and going to the internet exchange and go for peering. And you see here, everything on Akamai comes from the caching engine, but if it's not coming from the caching, it also comes from the peering. But when it comes to latency, it has to be from the caching. CD Networks, the same. And yeah, and the rest, like everywhere. Limelight, still very high, and so on. Facebook, Twitter. So this brings me to the point again, to the latency I mentioned earlier on. When you think about the region and everybody is competing to each other, and when you think about the infrastructure you have inside the countries, you have so much fiber out there. Your customers have so much possibility to have a big pipe or having a big bandwidth on their last mile links. You even have LTE. Your LTE coverage is much better than the Austrian one. In Austria, I think we have now 2 cities with LTE, which is really annoying. Here, you can get it almost everywhere, as far as I heard it. So, but when it comes to the backhaul, latency becomes an issue, because what you do with your 100 megabit or what you do with your 15 or 20 megabit on your mobile, when you don't reach the target, it's worth nothing. The traffic will stay really low. And if you talk to the people, they tell you, yeah, we use maximum of 4 megabit on a 100 megabit link or something like that, because it's not usable. So in your competition, peering will make a real difference. If you think about, look at that graph and then look again at that graph. So your customer experience will be dramatically better with this graph, of course. And this is even getting better, because now with the numbers we already reached, we are really targeting the content to come to UAE IX. And if this is not enough, I can show you a graph, the traffic graph of last week from the UAE exchange. And so what you see on Wednesday, it's iOS 7. So I'm also one of these silly Apple users. I still believe it's the best device, even if it's not. Or maybe not. But if you think about the traffic you get just because of an iOS upgrade, and if you think about the value of 13 gigabit, which is most of it going to 2 different or 1 operator, and if you think about the value when you calculate it with the traffic pricing here, then you know that these guys who did the peering really saved lots of money. They saved tons of money. And it was even better for the backhaul to Europe they still have. It was even better for the latency, better customer experience, everything. So I think this is a graph that's, yeah, it speaks for itself. So last but not least, I give you a short update about UI/UX. And if you read it in detail, you will see I was very in a hurry to write it. There are some typos. So if you find it, you can get a t-shirt behind there. No, I don't have enough t-shirts. You can get some pens and so on. So we have 20 plus networks signed there. We have 55% of all access use of the GCC region are now appearing on UAE Exchange. We have 3 out of the 4 DSPs from KSA. So it's quite impressive now, and we are really good on track to get the content guys now. We have a reseller model that's be announced soon. So then we have the same standard that we have in Europe. We will operate under our own license soon, which is also very crucial for the future development. And yeah, and connecting soon is STC and Google, where I'm really happy about, because this brings us really forward to build the regional hub we want to be. So, and one announcement. We will have a peering workshop on the 25th of September. If you didn't know it till now, and if you still have the chance to go there, everybody's happy welcome. Just drop an email, and yeah. Thank you. I make it short to the coffee break, and if you have questions, please move on.
Yes, any questions for Marco? In the back.
Ala from Fast Telco. Do you have any plans to come to Kuwait for the Kuwait Internet Exchange?
No.
Okay.
No, it's we have the Internet Exchange in Dubai, and the concept is that we connect every data center there. In Dubai. It's like in Frankfurt. We connect every data center in Frankfurt. And the same we can do, or we will do, or want to do in Dubai at the end of the day. So we are carrier and data center neutral. But we don't have the plan to go to different countries in the region. But we really support, and we are really happy about every local internet exchange initiative, because I think at the end of, this is also our strong belief, this brings the whole region forward. So we want to be the regional hub, of course, as I said, but I think there is so much value in local exchanges that, we really are happy
another
about
question, Google, there will be a full node or only peering?
That's something you have to talk to Google, honestly. Paul Mandl is here.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
Paul somewhere was here in the room.
I've seen him here.
He's a very tall gentleman, so he's hard to miss.
The biggest content guy here.
Yeah, and I think, if I may add, you have to remember that as Marco said, like, and earlier on we saw examples like, oh, yeah, DE-CIX in Germany does over 600 networks, and M6 is 700, and Links is all in these regions. And 20 may seem small, but remember it takes 2 networks to pair. If you add the third one, you've got an internet exchange. And Philip earlier on gave the examples where back in the UK, where it was just a simple hub. Yes, it's beautiful to have a big data center, and and regional hubs like UI/UX are important, but you can start small, and that's for instance the Palestine Internet Exchange is a relatively small one, but it functions.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. That's true. And one thing that's really interesting, we're the first time here in the region that it's a bit different than you may be used to see it on other sites, because, okay, I wouldn't say it's the better style, but we will do it the same way we did it in Europe. So we are neutral. We are not a carrier. We are not a data center. We go to every data center. We connect the sites to each other. So no matter at which site, at the moment we're at Datamena and Equinix, no matter at which site you connect, no matter through which carrier you're coming to, you can connect and go for peering. So it's a model you don't see at the moment, or you haven't seen till now in the region, because typically the exchange is operated by some company, and then you play under their rules, you pay for interconnection and so on, which is fine on one hand, but on the other hand, I think the future is this more free model, where I'm more free to interconnect. And for all people coming from outside, you will have the same look and feel like you have in Frankfurt. And I think this is a real added value.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Me. Shuffle the microphone to you. It's quite a big room if you have to walk around there.
Thanks. Hi, Philip again from Data Mina. You mentioned that you get pretty much the same look and feel as Frankfurt when you're peering on the DE-CIX. And I've been looking at the list of companies peering. I see quite a few peering selectively, like IX Reach, for instance, and many others peering openly. Is that the same trend you see in Frankfurt and DE-CIX, or is that different?
Yeah, I would say in Frankfurt we have many more networks, but on some point it's even worse because you also see restrictive networks, which means they will not peer with you at any case. So the answer is it's quite normal. You have open peers, you have selective peers on an internet exchange, and even when you think about the UA exchange, I think we did some trace routes, and we saw that it would be also good for some of the tier 1s to peer there, because sometimes traffic from Dubai to Dubai goes one time around the world between two tier 1s. And in this case, it would be nice for them to peer them as well over the internet exchange, and then they definitely will be restrictive peers. So that's normal. That's the same you see in Europe.
All right, thank you. Could you go back to the traffic graph you showed? I've got a comment on that, actually.
Yeah, you like that, yeah? Wait a sec.
Yeah, actually, on that graph. Oops.
Wait a sec. Wait, very well. This one, yeah?
Yes, this one. So I've checked with my colleagues at DO, and apparently a big chunk of that spike you see on Wednesday was part of their traffic due to the iOS 7 release. And I'm told that they saved close to $100,000 in burst charges thanks to direct peering on that. So just wanted to make that comment for everyone to understand the commercial value of peering.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip.
That's a nice comment.
Any other questions remaining? Yes.
Doesn't UAE already has an exchange by name MX, which is similar to yours?
Sorry?
An exchange, an internet exchange similar to yours, and already in UAE. And how do you plan to compete with that?
Is it really an internet exchange?
Yes.
And how does it work there? Is it that you can peer with everybody free of charge, that you are carrier neutral, that you're data center neutral, that you connect everybody to everybody for no cost? That's the question. And don't misunderstand me. I really like what is built there, and I think that we have a really good relationship with the guys there. And I'm really curious what will happen in future, and I see it's positive for every side. What, inshallah, will happen in future there. That's my comment. It's too early to comment more, I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if there are no further questions, then thank you, Marco. And you've neatly almost got up with the original timing. So.
Yeah, I did it for you.
Oh yeah, great. Now, yeah. Well, I think everybody is ready for another small coffee break. So we've got some refreshments waiting for you outside, and after that, 3 more presentations lined up for you. I know that the original agenda said 2, but we've got one addition presentation by Freddy later on. So shall we just see if we can reconvene at 4 o'clock and make our original timing? I see Philip looking at me like, no. Okay, then this we'll make it like 10 past 4 or so. But yeah. Thank you all, and be back here in, in let's say 30 minutes. Enjoy the break. Thank you.